Hi friends, my name is Arun. I will be handling physics for you. This is your 10th standard, the important turning point of your life, isn't it? So, in physics we will be studying the basic theories which will help you to continue your studies in your higher classes. We will be having 4 chapters in physics this year. They are light, reflection and refraction, which we will be discussing today. Then we have human eye, colorful and wonderful world. Third chapter is electricity, and the last chapter magnetic effects of electric current. So the first 2 chapters, light and human eye, both are related with each other. They are dealing with light, our vision. Human beings, we are able to see because of light. So it's related to vision, and both these chapters go hand in hand. And the electricity and magnetic effects of electric current, they both are also related to each other. They are related with the production of how current is produced, what is current, what are the effects of current, and how magnet and electricity, the relationship between magnet and electricity. These all are dealt in these 2 chapters. Okay, so the first 2 chapters we will be studying it. If we study without studying first chapter, we can't study second chapter. Without studying second chapter, means what? Both are going hand in hand. Okay, so we can altogether we can have those 2 chapters as one big unit, and out of that 2 sections are there. One is light, reflection and refraction, and the second unit is the second section is human eye, color means colorful world. Okay, then the second unit we will have electricity and magnetic effects of electric current, 2 sections. Okay, so today we will be dealing with the first chapter, that is chapter 10, light, reflection and refraction. So what do we know about light? We have started studying about light from our lower classes, like from 7th standard onwards. What is light? How we are able to see? It's because of human eye. Our eyes are able to capture the light coming from other objects, and these light rays, when it enters into our eyes structured such a way that we are able to visualize those things. So the light rays are converted into images, okay, inside our eye. So the structure of eye and all we will be studying it in the next class, so in the next chapter. Anyway, what is the phenomenon of vision? That is the major section or major portion which we will be dealing in this chapter. How we are able to see, why we are able to see, and what are the important things that we have to study, the important phenomena which we want to study in light chapter. So basically we are having 2 important phenomena in light. They are reflection and refraction. You are familiar with this word, reflection. When we are standing in front of a mirror at our house, in order to comb our hair or in order to apply powder in our face, what we will do? We will be standing in front of the mirror, and what we are able to see? We are able to see ourselves in the mirror, isn't it? So when why we are able to see ourselves? That's just because of this phenomena called as reflection. That means from our body, the light rays are hitting on the mirror, and those light rays are reflecting back, and it enters into our eyes. And when it enters into our eyes, then we are able to see the vision. Okay, so we are able to see ourselves just because of this phenomena, that is reflection. How it is? Let's see. So this is the mirror. What are mirrors? We have studied it in lower classes. What are mirrors? They are polished reflecting surfaces are called what? Mirrors. Okay, so when a light ray is coming and hitting on the polished surface, light is a form of energy, isn't it? So light, when it enters and when it hit a polished surface, what will happen? They will bounce back. They will hit and they will bounce back. Like when we are throwing a ball onto the surface, onto the floor, what will happen? The ball will come back. It will hit back. Why? Because with the ball will hit on that surface, it can't go forward, it have to come back. So the same way, the light, when it comes and hits on a polished surface, and the polished surface is not allowing the light to pass through it, because this portion we are stopped, we have been made opaque. So the polished surface will only, then the light ray can only come and hit on the surface and it can return back. So it bounced back. Okay, so this bouncing back of light is called reflection. The bouncing back of light is called what? Reflection. Okay, so light, when it reflects and when it enters into our eyes, when it reflects and when it enters into our eyes, we are able to see ourselves. Okay, so we are standing here. When we are standing here, the light rays from our body hits the polished surface, it comes back to our eyes, and then we are able to see ourselves. Likewise, when we are standing on a river base, on a river side, when we are peeping into the river water, what can we see? We will be seeing ourselves, and that's also an example of reflection. Okay, when we are standing near to the well, and when we are peeping into the water, what we can see? Again we can see ourselves, and that's all because of this reflection. So reflection is the bouncing back of light, which we have studied in the lower classes, and also the refraction is a new term which we will be studying this year in this chapter. It's also a phenomenon of light, and refraction means it is bending of light. I'll discuss it in detail in the next classes. Bending of light. Okay, so why it is bending, etc., we will be studying it, we will be discussing it in the coming classes. So reflection, bouncing back of light. Reflection, it is bouncing back of light, and refraction, it is bending of light. Reflection, it is bouncing back of light. Refraction, it is bending of light. So these two phenomena we will be studying in this chapter. Okay, so when we are dealing with reflection, you have studied in your 8th standard laws of reflection. You have studied it in the 8th standard, laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. You have to recall both the laws of reflection. You have two laws of reflection. First one, so for example, let me picturize it. Okay, so this is a polished surface, and one side is rough. The top side is the polished surface, which will allow the light to bounce back, or which will allow the light to reflect. Okay, so when the light ray from any object comes and hits on the surface, light ray will travel in straight line. Okay, the light rays will be always traveling in straight line. It hits on the surface. What it will do? It will reflect, isn't it? And this reflection is following certain rules. This reflection will be followed only with respect to some rules. Okay, and the first rule is that whenever it is making an angle, means making a point of incidence, at this point of incidence we have to draw a 90-degree line. We have to draw a 90-degree. We will be drawing at this point of incidence. We'll keep a protractor, and we have to draw a 90-degree line. And this 90-degree line is called as normal. This is the normal line, 90-degree line. So this is the incident ray. These all things you have studied it in your lower classes. This is the incident ray. This is the normal. And how reflection occurs? The incident ray will make an angle I with the normal, and this angle I is called the angle of incidence. This angle I is called the angle of incidence. That means at which angle it is incident at the point of the at the surface of the mirror, that angle is called angle of incidence, and that angle of incidence is the angle made by the incident ray with the normal. And what does first law says? The first law says that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. The angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So what is angle of reflection? So angle of reflection means whenever a ray comes and hits on the surface of a mirror, it will reflect in such a way that both the angles, that means the angle made by the incident ray with the normal, will be always equal to the angle made by the reflected ray, with the normal. So this is the first law. What it is? Angle of incidence will be always equal to angle of reflection. And what is angle of incidence and angle of reflection? The angle of incidence is the angle made by the incident ray with the normal, and angle of reflection is the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal. And what is normal? Normal is the 90-degree line, a perpendicular line drawn at the point of incidence. A perpendicular line drawn at the point of incidence is called the normal. Clear? So this is the first law. This you have been studying. You have studied it in your 8th standard. Okay. So angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. That is the first law. So this is how the reflection occurs. So in order for a reflection to take place, there are some basic rules. When we are driving a car in the vehicle, means in the on the roads, what we have to follow? We have to follow traffic rules. Otherwise, we will be fined. Traffic police will catch us, isn't it? Likewise, whenever the reflection occurs, there should be some rules to be followed, and out of that rule, the first rule is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and the second rule is the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal. The incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal all lies in a same plane. All lies in the same plane. So everything will be in the same plane. Okay, so the angle of incident, the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal all lies on the same plane. So this is the second law. So first law is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Second law is the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal all lies on the same plane. Okay, so these are the laws of reflection, and when we are studying in this chapter, we will be studying image formation, how image is formed. We are able to see ourselves on the mirror, isn't it? So how that image is formed, we will be studying it in this chapter. Okay, so for that we need what? We need what? Laws of reflection is required. Clear? Okay, so this is what? Laws of reflection. You have to study it by heart. There are two laws of reflection. One is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal all lies in the same plane. Okay, so that is clear. Now what you have to understand is some basic terms which we have studied in our lower classes about image and object. What is image, what is object, that we have to first study. What is image? What is object? What is object? Take the case when we are standing in front of a plain mirror in a house. The one who is standing in front of the mirror, for example, I am standing in front of the mirror to comb my hair. So whoever is standing in front of the mirror, that is the object. Whoever is standing in front of the mirror, that is the object. And whatever we see on the mirror, that means our reflection is seen on the mirror, isn't it? So that reflection, that whatever is seen on the mirror, that is called the image. Okay, so the image is formed as the reflection of the object. The object is seen as the image. Okay, and there is some relationship between this object and the image. Okay, that relationship we are going to study in case when we are dealing with what? The image formation of mirrors. Okay, so object and image, you know, this also we have studied before. And what is an erect image? Recall what all terms you have studied in case of light. Erect image, inverted image, inverted image, then virtual image and real image. These are the other four terms which we need to understand clearly when we are studying the relationship between object and the image. What is erect image, what is inverted image, what is virtual image, and what is real image. So, for example, on the mirror, this is the mirror. I am keeping a candle flame. I am keeping a candle in front of the mirror. If I am able to see the candle in this position itself on the mirror, same as that, same position as that of the object. If the image and the object are in the same position, if the object is kept like this, upright position, then the image will also be in the upright position. Then what I can say, the image is erect. The image is erect. But in the case, if I am keeping the object like this, and if I am seeing the image like this, inverted, the flame will be inverted, then I will say that that image is what? Inverted. If the object is in the upright position and if the image is in the downward position, I will say that the image is inverted. And you will be wondering how this could happen. We are going to see that how this will happen. We will be seeing it in this class itself. Okay, how this will happen. So, for example, I will ask you one question. When you are combing your hair, are you seeing like this? When we are standing straight, how we are seeing ourselves? We are seeing ourselves in the upright position itself. So, the image is always what? Erect in our home. The image is always erect in our home. And what mirror we are using at homes, at our house? What mirror we are using? We are using plain mirror. We are using plain mirror. That means the mirror, the polished surface is straight. There is no curve or there is nothing, what curve is there on the mirror, polished mirror surface. That means the reflecting surface is plain. That means it is straight. Okay, but there are some other mirrors which will have curved reflecting surfaces, and those mirrors are called spherical mirrors, and we will be dealing with spherical mirrors in this chapter. Okay, so then you will understand whether this will happen or not. You will be having doubt now, but that you will understand that these things will be seen in spherical mirrors. That means inverted images. If I am keeping this duster like this, then what will happen? The image of the duster will be upside down. Clear? Okay, so inverted is also clear to you. Now, the next one, it is virtual image and real image. Okay, so virtual image means when we are looking onto the plane mirror, we are able to see ourselves on the surface of the mirror, isn't it? On the surface of the mirror. So when we are seeing ourselves on the surface of the mirror, is it real? The object is standing in front of the mirror, but I am able to see myself on the surface of the mirror. Okay, but is the image real? No, it is not real. We feel that someone is standing behind the mirror, and when we say hi, the image will also say hi, but he is standing, we feel that image is standing, or ourselves is standing behind the mirror. Okay, so, but that image is not a real image. That image is not a real image, it is virtual image. It is not a real image, and whichever image is not a real image, it is virtual image. And real images are images which we are able to project it on a screen. You note it down. The real images are images which we are able to project it on a screen. That means the image of the object, can be caught on a screen. You will understand it clearly. Now you just keep it in mind that the real image is the image which can be caught on a screen. And when we are discussing about spherical mirrors, we will be understanding more clearly what is a real image, what is a virtual image. And note it down or keep it in mind, virtual images, the image will be seen on the mirror, on the surface of the mirror. The images which is seen on the surface of the mirror, then we can say that those images are virtual images. But some images cannot be seen on the surface of the mirror. We need to project it in a screen. Those images are called real images. Now you may be having some confusions, but it will be surely eradicated. The confusions will be over while we are discussing this spherical mirrors. Clear? Okay, so these four terms you keep it in mind: erect, inverted, virtual and real. Okay, virtual image, keep it in mind, whatever image which is seen on the mirror they are virtual images. Take the example of the mirrors which we use in homes, in a house. Okay, so when we are standing in front of the mirror, we are able to see ourselves on the mirror. So those images are virtual images, and there are another type of images called real images, which cannot be seen on the screen, on the surface of the mirror, but which we want to catch it on a screen. Clear? So these real images are seen in the case of spherical mirrors. Okay.